If we haven't met, I'm Jennifer Elliott, and this is VinYin. And today we're working towards kind of modified headstand, more really like a modified forearm balance, and hopefully Urdhva Dhanurasana. Don't worry, you don't have to be able to do those to pave our path there. So we'll get started. So 2-block heart opener, or something that's going to be really opening for you. And if you don't have a 2-block heart opener, you can start flat on your back, your arms in cactus. You can have a bolster, set of blankets underneath you, just something to encourage your back body to start moving towards your front body. The eyes are closed. I like to bend my knees on this one, feet on the floor, just giving the low back a little bit of a break. So we can just really focus on the upper back, the thoracic spine. Wherever you are, let the palms rotate up. And just let the eyes soften and the jaw relax. And just take a few natural cycles of breath, just however you're breathing. Just observe it. And let's take a nice full inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and let it out. Again, in through the nose. Open the mouth and let it out. In through the nose. Hold at the top. Sip a bit more breath in through the nose. Sip a bit more breath in. Open the mouth and let it out. Inhale through the nose. Exhale back out the nose. Let your breath find its own pattern now. Send the arms overhead and just grab onto your elbows, frame your face. So you might be able to clear your head with your forearms, or you might be resting your forearms on your forehead. So just whatever feels best for your shoulders right now. You can sort of hold at the elbow tips and pull the elbow tips back, but try to release the shoulders by your neck, so making your neck a little longer. And then switch, whichever arm is on top, switch to the other arm. Again, lengthen the side body, but release the inner neck. And then gently release. Let's make our way onto our back. So if you're on these props, go ahead and remove them. And then find your way to your back. I'm going to grab my strap. I'm going to take the strap over the right foot, reach it to the ceiling. And just start to get into the hamstrings a bit. So if the low back is tender, keep the left knee bent. Otherwise, we can straighten that left leg out on the floor. And just take a few moments here and see where your hamstrings are. We're going to take the straps into our left hand so we can make this a twist. Cross your right leg all the way over the body, enjoying this nice twist, and then consider bending the bottom knee. Maybe right hand can reach for that bottom foot. If that feels like a lot, then just stick with the twist. If you do have the foot, see if you can press the foot into the hand. Move that left shoulder blade out from underneath you. Take one more breath here. Gently release the bottom leg if you've got it, and send the right leg to the ceiling. Okay, side 2. So put the strap over the left foot, right foot to the ground, and as always, if you don't have a strap, you can hold the leg, you can use a towel, whatever's available. Right leg straight on the floor, if that's okay for you. And as you're ready, strap into the right hand, cross the leg over. Give myself a little bit more room here. And it's actually quite nice if you have a wall like I do here. You can really press into the wall. And then consider, some of you might bend that bottom knee and reach for the ankle. If you're not ready for that, don't worry, we have other opportunities. If you have it, see if you can press your foot a little bit more into the hand. Gently release the bottom leg if you've got it. Bring that top leg up to center. And then both knees bend, both feet on the floor. You can just move your strap away. Arms by your sides. And sometimes people will say to have your middle finger brush the heels. That's not really true for everyone. For some of you, that will pull the feet too back or too far forward. So it's a nice guesstimate, but don't let that be your end all. So maybe your middle fingers brush your heels, but either way, knees are right over ankles. And then take an inhale, sweep the arms overhead, palms face each other. And then exhale, bring the arms down. Inhale, peel the hips up, down through the pinky fingers, and lower the spine down. Let's just combine that now. Inhale, arms and hips rise. Exhale, arms and hips down. 3 more on your own. Inhale. And exhale. Movement with breath. One more. And release. Okay, knees to your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. Hands under the knees. Rock forward and back, or however you'd like to come up to seated. And then sit comfortably crossed at the ankles. Sit on a blanket if you'd like. I'm going to face the other way just for a moment so you can see the shoulders if this is new for you. But I'm going to take a strap in the right hand, reaching it up and turning the palm back. Hand on the shoulder, guide the elbow in, kind of similar to what we did just a moment ago. And then the left arm out, thumb down, slide behind and reach for the strap. Now this is my shoulder that's a little more challenging for me, so my hands don't meet readily. So I can hold the strap, hug that top elbow in, and just really grow tall. A couple breaths here in your Gomukhasana arms. Some of you may be able to reach for your hands. I know I can on the other side. Just sit comfortable at the ankles. All right, one more breath. And release. Roll the shoulders back and forward. And then we'll do the other side. If you're crossing at the ankles, switch the cross. If you want to use a strap, place it in the left hand. Turn your palm back, hand on the shoulder, and then guide that elbow in and back. Chin level to the floor, then right arm out, thumb down, slide the arm behind the back. Sometimes in these beginning poses, we sort of want to rush through them, but these are really imprinting good habits for later in our practice. So really hug that top elbow in, sit tall. You can roll the bottom shoulder, head back. All right, one more breath. And release. All right, roll the shoulders back and forward. We'll use this later. Now, I already put a loop in it that's about shoulder width. This is already available for me. So you might consider looping up your strap if you've got that, but we'll use that a lot later. You don't want to do it just yet. So find your way to hands and knees. I have my blocks at the top edges of my mat. Find your way to table pose. Really reach back through the toes. Pull your chest forward, lift the navel in. Exhale and round. Good. And then just do that a few times. Inhale, pull the chest forward. Exhale and round the spine. One more. And then press back into child's pose. So again, if you're just joining, I had broken my toes. They're totally fine, but you'll notice that I do things slightly different than I might tell you to. So if you see me lifting that back leg or like now crossing and sitting at the ankles, just know that that's just more so I'm protecting that foot. So find your way to hands and knees. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog, and just pedal out the feet. Do what you need here. Really settle into your pose. And shift yourself forward, finding plank, top of a push-up. This can also always be on your knees. We're going to stay here a little bit longer just to get the core engaged. Press through your palms. Chest forward, lift the hips about 1/2 inch. If your wrists are not ready for this, knees down. 3 more breaths. And then from plank or knees, tip forward, go slow to the floor. Elbows hug the body the whole way down. Reach back through your toes, take an inhale, lift your heart, and exhale, lower down, low cobra. Inhale, lift the heart, elbows in, and release. Inhale, lift the heart, slide onto your forearms for Sphinx. So root through the palms, drag the chest forward, and as you push into the feet, the shins lift, the navel lifts. Now you can stay here, where you can tuck the bottom toes under and come up into plank on the forearms. So I'm going to skip that today, but that's always available. So plank on the forearms or in Sphinx as I am. Now, if you're in plank on the forearms, lower down. Hands by your sides, press up plank or table, and then find downward facing dog. From down dog, or you can always be in table, raise the right leg up to the height of the hip. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose, pull the knee high to the chest. Inhale the leg back. Exhale, knee crosses to the left arm. Keep the shoulders stacked over the wrists. Inhale back. Exhale, knee to nose. Step the foot next to the right thumb tip. Release the back knee down. Pat it if you need an inhale. Arms rise. Anjaneyasana. So lift the frontal hip points as you sink a little deeper into the hips. So sink into the pelvis, but lift the frontal hip bones. Take a couple of breaths here. Hands to your heart, inhale. And then exhale, slowly twist, elbow over the knee. Try not to use it as leverage. Inhale, pull the heart forward. And exhale, drive the belly in and use that to twist. It's really more about the core, less about the leveraging of the arm. Inhale long. Exhale, navel in and twist. One more breath. Unwind. Hands on floor or blocks. Hinge back. Stretch the hamstrings. And then find your way back to down dog through a flow or just go straight there. I'm going to demo side 2 in the alternative style of being on the knees. So you're either in down dog as we were a moment ago, or you can do this from hands and knees like I am. Raise the left leg up halfway behind you. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose, pull the knee high to the chest. Inhale back. Exhale, knee to the right arm. Keep the shoulders stacked over wrists. Inhale back. Exhale, knee to nose, step the foot next to the left thumb tip. Back knee down if it wasn't already. And then when you're ready, rise. Anjaneyasana. So notice, if you're sinking as deep as you can into your hips, you've lost the space here and it doesn't feel great in the back. So back out a little bit. Lift the frontal hip points. Really try to pull up that front side, tail down. Keep that and then sink a little deeper, but really lift up through the navel. Hands to your heart, inhale. Exhale, twist left, elbow over the knee. Again, we're not cranking. Instead, lengthen on inhale. Exhale, belly in and twist. All right, 2 more on your own. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. All right, slowly unwind. Hands down, hinge back, stretch the hamstrings. And then make your way to down dog, whatever you'd like to do. Take a few moments here. Come high to your toes. Bend your knees. Look forward, step, step, or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Lead through the crown of the head. Exhale and fold. Root to rise. Inhale, arms reach to the sky. Palms press, navel in and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, Surya Namaskar A, we'll begin. So feet are together. Spin the inner thighs back. Lift the navel like we were just doing in our low lunge. Arms by your sides. Inhale, arms rise. Palms press, navel in and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, chest forward. Exhale, step to plank. Pause here, we're going slow these first ones. Tip forward, lower halfway, chaturanga. 2 breaths. 1, 2, lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra, Sphinx, Or maybe, we'll see if I can do it, upward facing dog. So back bends are up to you. Downward facing dog, however you arrive. Okay, 5 breaths. Inhale, high to your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Reach the arms to the sky, palms press. And exhale, hands to heart. Round 2, Surya A. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Some of you exhale, jump to chaturanga. Otherwise, step to plank and lower. You might scrub the toes back and flip over into your up dog. We'll all meet in down dog, however you get there. And see if you can notice any asymmetries in your body. So much easier for me to notice because I sort of have that one side that I'm protecting, but we always have a side that's either sort of on the front lines or maybe gets more of the injuries. So most of us have this asymmetry. We just have to pay attention. Can you find it? How are you feeling left to right? Inhale, high to your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, step or hop, top of the mat. Come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Arms reach to the sky. Palms press. Hands to heart. Okay, 3 rounds on your own. If you don't know it, make it up. If you prefer, make it up. We'll meet in our 3rd downward facing dog. When breath stops, movement stops. It's very much a moving meditation. You're moving very fast. I know you're hardly breathing. So really slow the breath down and try to match your movement with the breath. When you get to down dog, we are there 3, 4, or 5 breaths. We're building heat and strength here. We have 1 more round, so after this down dog, we'll meet in our next down dog. All right, so make your way to down dog if you're not quite there. All right, and from down dog, let's bring ourselves down to our knees. If you have those 2 blocks, again, we're going to use them. You could do this without blocks. I just like the lift that they give. So I'm going to take my forearms and rest them on the block. And I'm going to walk my elbows as far away from me as I can, palms together. Knees back. And as I sink my chest down, I'm trying to get onto the meat of the back of the arm. Hands can either stay up or thumbs can drop between the shoulder blades. We want to stretch the chest, the triceps, the upper back. I've done a bunch of movement, so this is a great time to get into it, but see how you're feeling in the shoulders. Don't push past your edge. All right. Slowly come out. I'm actually going to take a block at the front of my mat and a block at the back. And then I'm going to find my way to down dog. Let's walk our hands to the back of the mat. Heel toe the feet together. Bend your knees, drop your seat. Find chair pose, weight in the heels. Hands to your heart, take an inhale. Exhale, turn to the right, elbow over the knee. Inhale, lengthen the chest like we did with our twist earlier. Exhale, pull the navel into open. And you can stay or open the arms, drop the seat. We're still building that heat. On an arm balance, go for it. Otherwise, when you're done, we'll meet in chair again. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart, twist left, elbow over the knee. Pull the chest forward, lengthen. Really work that length on inhale. Exhale, the navel pulls in. If that back knee feels like it's shifting forward, see if you can level them a little bit. Maybe open the arms. All right. Find your breath. If you're interested in that arm balance, take it on this side. And release. Nice job. So when you release from your pose, feet are hip width apart. Walk your hands forward, downward facing dog. All right, inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step it to the center of the hands. Drop the back heel down. Come on up. Warrior two. Okay, we've arrived. So once you find your spot, check out front heel intersects the back arch. Turn the back toes in a little bit. Sink a little deeper. Find your breath. We're just going to lean forward, elbow to the thigh. Top arm reaches the palm forward and over the ear. Now you're welcome to drop down lower. This is my first vinyasa class, so I think I'm going to stay where I am. But you're welcome to drop that bottom hand down. But our focus today is on this top arm. So wrapping that outer arm in, just like we did when we had the strap. Inhale, return to warrior two. Straighten the right leg, turn the toes in, reach the arms up. And then exhale, turn to face the back of your mat, warrior two on the left side. Kick your right heel back. I'll sort of take a moment to get my heel back. And then we're on the other side. Couple of breaths. And it's nice to kind of slow it down anyway. Really check out where you're at. Front heel intersecting back arch. Wrap the left buttock under. And then we're just going to take it deeper by leaning, elbow to the thigh. Top arm, turn so that the palm faces the back of the mat and extend it over. And again, if you'd gone lower the first time, go ahead and do that here. Lengthen the bottom waist. Find your breath. And interestingly enough, this side feels like I naturally just want to drop down deeper. So even though I would tell you kind of do the same thing, it's also nice to just explore and see where your body's at. All right, inhale, warrior two. Straighten up the leg, turn the toes in, reach the arms up, and then hands on hips. So I'm going to step back a little bit, but we're pretty much going to face this side wall. Turn the toes in just slightly, hug the outer ankles in, hands on your hips. Lift your chest, grow tall, and then soften your knees as you tilt forward. Hands on the floor or props. Look up halfway, lengthen, hug the outer hips in. Now you can stay here. Otherwise, start to walk your hands in. Keep a good bend in your elbows. So even if your hands go down flat, maybe have a little cupcake hand so that you can get this nice 90-degree, the elbow over the wrist. Feel the crown of the head reaching to the floor. Some of you may have your head on the ground. If you feel comfortable in your space, you're welcome to tripod headstand. And then if you're in tripod, lower the legs, come down. Otherwise, we're all going to gaze up halfway. And then exhale, turn to the right and find your down dog. When you get to down dog, reach your right leg to the ceiling. Let it go as high as it wants to go. So the hip is going to start to open. Bend your knee, push your foot behind you, and you can stay or flip the dog. And then go ahead and find your way back to down dog. If you want to add a set of push-ups, a vinyasa, or anything else, go for it. And then inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, step it to the center of the hands. Anchor the back heel down. Come on up, warrior two. Sink into your lunge. Start to reach towards the front of your mat. Take your hand to the outside of the ankle, top hand on your hip. You can stay there or you can use your prop and pick up the back leg for Urdhva Dhanurasana. And similarly to what we just did before we flip the dog, you might bend the top knee, press the foot back. You can stay there or maybe you reach for the ankle. Straighten the leg, mindfully step back, warrior two. And then straighten up the leg, turn the toes and reach the arms up. And then turn the right foot to the back of the mat. Find your way into your warrior two on this side. Okay, let's lean, reach. Place your hand outside of the foot. You can stay here. I'm going to get a little help from my props here, and we're going to go slow into Urdhva Dhanurasana. We'll see how I do. Whew, okay. So stay there. This feels like enough for me, or maybe bend at the top knee, press it back. I'm going to skip the add-on because I think this is good. Straighten the leg. Step back mindfully, warrior two. Straighten the leg, hands and hips, and turn the toes in. And so now I'm going to take the hands behind me. Either make fists or reverse prayer, whatever works for you. We don't really grab the elbows because it usually pulls one elbow off. It's not quite even. So either make fists or reverse prayer. Whatever you've decided works for you. Roll the shoulder heads back, hug the outer ankles in, lift the chest, and then exhale when you're ready. Take your forward fold. You can check your feet out again. A lot of times they've shifted, so see that the outside edges are parallel to the sides of the mat. Firm the outer ankles in. Hug the inner thighs. Pull the chest forward, and wherever you are, lift the shoulder heads. All right, release your hands, gaze up halfway. You'll be turning to your left and stepping back into down dog. And then when you get there, inhale, the left leg lifts, open up, press your foot back. Okay, some of you will flip the dog here. And straighten it and come back, down dog. Feel free to take a vinyasa if you'd like. I know I like my blocks. I'm going to take that one at the back and move it up to the front. Inhale, the right leg lifts, and exhale, step your foot next to your right thumb tip. Boost your back foot up and slightly left, and come on up, warrior one. Sink in. Okay, now this is the same thing as when our knee was down. If we sink too much in the hips, we sort of lose that space. So can you sink in, but back off enough that you can lift the frontal hip bones and try to get that little bit of a lift, lower belly pulling in and up. Or you can use thumbs on the back side to press down. Lift up out of your waist. Couple of breaths here. And keep your hands and hips or reach them up, but just really work rooting through both feet. All right. Gaze up, palms press. Exhale, hands come down to floor or props. Frame your front foot. Take the back foot, come up onto the toes so it's easy to square the hips, and then shorten your stance. So I don't know, come in maybe 6 inches. And I go a little wider. I'm widening my stance. So I'm not on a tightrope, but a little wider. So if you have your blocks at shoulder width, your left foot is probably behind this top left block. Pull your chest forward. Get that length we've been working all practice. Right thumb to the right hip crease, pin it back. Pull your breastbone forward, maybe stay there. We're moving slow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, open up the right arm. Start to move into your twist. You can stay or take that top arm high. Keep pulling the right hip back as you pull the chest forward. Couple of breaths here. Seal that back heel down. And release. Okay, how are we doing? Can we get that heat? Okay, so find your way to down dog. If you want a vinyasa or set of push-ups, take them. All right, inhale. The left leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the left thumb tip. Take a moment, get yourself set up. Warrior one. And can you lift the frontal hip bones? Sink a little deeper. Find your breath. Gaze up, palms press. Bring your hands down to the floor. Frame your front foot, preferably on blocks. Come up onto the back toes and shorten your stance. The weight is even between the feet. Pull your chest forward. All right, now I can already feel this set of hamstrings is not as open as the other side. Plus, I already know that twisting for me on this side is not my deepest. So I anticipate I'm not going to go in and look the same on this side. Left thumb to left hip crease. Pull the chest forward. This already feels like a challenge, so I'm going to stay here. I might try to open up my heart to the side wall, but I'm working the length first and driving through the back heel. Maybe this top arm comes high, but if you see, it's sort of almost at 45 degrees. It's not even at 90 degrees. Pull the chest forward, work your breath, hug those inner thighs together. All right, and bring it down. Okay, well done. Find your way to down dog. Add your vinyasa in if you'd like. And then bring your knees to the floor. You're gonna have a seat. We're gonna do a little bit of core work. We're gonna do what I call pass the block. So if you don't have a block, a folded blanket is fine. If you don't have any of that, you can sort of just pretend. If you have a heavy block, watch out for that. I don't want to drop it on your face. So I'm going to put the block between my feet. And part of this, if I didn't have the block, I want to squeeze my feet together. So when I remove the block, I'm going to squeeze my feet together. So I'm on my back. I have my block or whatever prop is in between my feet. I have my hands up, thumbs are together, so I remember to keep that in. Then inhale, feet forward, hands back. Any amount. Exhale, bring it back. Take the block from your feet, bring the feet together. Inhale, take the block back, feet forward. Exhale, give the block back to your feet. Inhale, take the limbs away. Exhale, back. Okay, so just continue. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to return. And just keep passing the block back and forth between your hands and your feet. Okay, we have 10 more of these. Can we do it? Come out early, take a rest. We're already 3 in, so 7 more, we can do it. All right, 3 more. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Whew. Okay, knees to your chest, give yourself a nice hug. Rock a little side to side. Okay, rock yourself up to seated. And I'm going to use a wall for this. So this was just sort of, injuries are good, or even just trying something new is good because you do things you wouldn't normally do. So for me, I wanted to do an inversion. I didn't want to really commit to a full inversion today in case I fell. And this actually felt fine on my foot. So I'm going to use a wall. If you don't want to use a wall, you can do dolphin. So just finding that interlaced hands and then coming up like you are in downward facing dog. So you can do dolphin. If you have a headstand practice, you prefer that, you can take a headstand. But otherwise, you're going to sit against the wall in Dandasana. Hands are next to your side body. Sit up really tall. Okay, and I'm leaving my mat where it is because I've already measured that this is okay for me. So you decide if you want to move or not. So I'm going to bend my knees, move to my feet. And then I'm going to take a forward fold. I'm going to bring my knees down, and then I'm going to interlace my hands right where my feet were. Okay, I'm going to tuck my toes under, lift my hips up the wall, and then I'm going to place one foot at the wall at hip height, add the other foot. All right, I'm rooting through the arms, I'm pulling the front ribs in, and if I want, I can take one leg up. Now, sometimes we get overexcited and that leg starts to drop back and you feel it in your lower back. So bring the leg so it's about the same level as the hip. Turn the toes in, lift the navel. And if you want to bend the knee, that's fine, but keep working the tailbone up. And then root. Take the other leg up, and the head is not on the ground at all here. So this is great if headstand is not for you. If you bend the knee, be real specific. Lift up through the hips. Press the tailbone back. Okay. Bring yourself down and rest. So what you may have noticed in that is you may have felt too short and you may have felt like you wanted to walk forward, but then it became a plank. So we'll try it one more time if you want, if not, legs up the wall. And the work is to lift the hips high. So if you feel like it's too short, press up versus walking forward. And I think my mat actually got moved, so I'm going to shift it a little bit for myself. Okay, let's try again, or skip it if you're moving on. Okay, so we have our Dandasana. We're moving to our feet. I'm taking a nice forward fold. I'm marking where my feet were. Coming down to my forearms. I'm interlacing it. I'm really rooting through the sides of the arm. Tucking the toes under, heels at the wall, just like it was dolphin. Let's see, I think I can try this other foot first. Okay, so I have to push into my arms, really pressing through the feet. Find the breath. And then maybe take that leg up. Maybe the other leg. And then when you're ready, come down. Okay, we did it. So let's start to move into a little bit of rest. Doesn't mean our work is done. We're just shifting a little bit. I'm going to have my strap with the loop available. And I always like props. I'm going to grab my blocks. So find your way to legs in the air with the prop under the pelvis. So the blocks work really nicely. Take your feet to the ceiling. If you already had your feet to the ceiling, maybe at the wall, see if you can do it here where you've got a prop underneath you. We're going to move this towards our back bend, so we want to have a little bit more support. Okay, so once you have yourself set up here, bend your knees, hold onto your right knee, set your left foot on the floor. And this may feel like just enough, where you can always straighten that leg out. We've already done this work a little bit. Maybe now you feel a little bit more able to relax. So we won't be here for the full yin minutes. We'll be here for at least another 5 breaths. All right, switch sides, left leg in, right foot on the ground. So bent or straight, whatever works for you. Again, we'll be here about 5 breaths. Okay, so bend your knees, plant both feet on the floor. Take just a moment in this level supported bridge pose, which you are always welcome to keep. But again, we're going to lift into a more active bridge unless this is better for you. So I'm making sure that my legs are at this inner hip width. I can feel that the knees are wanting to display. So I'm consciously bringing those legs to nice and parallel. Nothing under my head, peeling the hips up, removing the prop, and then I can hold the edges of the mat. I can interlace the hands underneath me, hugging those inner thighs in. And then slowly release, paint the spine down to the floor. Okay, so we're going to do a couple more back bends. So you can always do bridge, active or supported. Otherwise, we're going to move towards Urdhva Dhanurasana. So I'm taking this loop that we created earlier, and I'm sliding it over the thighs. It comes to about mid-thigh, kind of like you're putting on a skirt. And I have the buckle halfway between, so it's not resting on my legs. And I want to look and see that, yes, this keeps my legs parallel. So it's not too wide, it's not too narrow, bringing the knees in, and that Goldilocks just right. And then once I find that, I want to sort of hug my thighs towards one another so the strap could get slack. And I want to feel that once I move into my pose. So from there, keep your inner thighs towards one another, but parallel. Reach your hands up, bend your elbows, and try to tuck your fingers under your shoulders. You'll notice it takes a minute to get your hands down. Try to draw the elbows into the ears like we did earlier. The hair out of the way, all that fun stuff. Okay. From there, once you've got your hands planted, firm those outer arms in. And then peel the hips up like you're going into bridge, and maybe that's all you do. Notice if your thighs are pressing against a strap, hug them in. And then press into your palms. Lift just to the top of your head. Not a lot of weight here. If you don't feel good here, chin to chest, come down. Elbows in, shoulders back. If this feels okay, press into your palms, straighten the arms and the legs. See if you can continue to wrap the outer arms in. Move your chest forward, hug the inner thighs in. And then when you lower, bend your knees, chin to chest, and slowly come on down. Okay, we do. Now it's tempting to pull the knees in right away, but we need to stay with our back bend, so we're going to do at least one more. If it's not Urdhva Dhanurasana, then you can take a supported or active bridge. All right, and you roll your wrists around. You can keep that strap or not, up to you. Tuck your fingertips under your shoulders, elbows in. I think that's the hardest part, one of them. Curl your hips up, pause, hug your inner thighs, hug your elbows in. Press into the palms, crown of the head. Make sure this is okay, not a lot of weight here. Elbows in, shoulders back. Then press into the palms, into the feet, lift the chest. Try to move your heart through your arms, but try to wrap your outer arms in. Take another breath. And then slowly chin to chest, lower. Great job. Remove your strap. Feet are as wide as the mat. We're still not pulling them in yet. And then gently windshield wiper side to side. And then let yourself just fall, knees to the left in your windshield wiper. And we'll stay here for a minute. So we are going to add in our yin times now, but just a minute, so not long. We'll set a timer on my phone. Usually these yin postures are for 2, 3, 5 minutes. So 1 minute is not that long to be here, but we've kind of done this work. If you want to cross ankle over knee, you can. You can even reach behind you if that's okay on the shoulders. You may notice your heartbeat. You may move to open up the chest and move through those twists. We really get that heart pumping. And see if you can use your breath to start to slow down the heartbeat. Okay, so come to center. Feet are on the edges of the mat. Windshield wiper again. Move slow. And when you're ready, drop the knees to the right. Again, you can stagger. You can add props. We're just working the length of this top thigh. We're going to stick to just that 1 minute hold, so not long. And if it's okay on your shoulders, you're not done with that, you can reach back and continue really pointing that left knee away and continuing that whole side body length. Okay. Release, windshield wiper the knees. And now, yay, you get to pull your knees into your chest. So pull them in, go slow. Rock a little side to side. Take your knees into a nice circle. Take your circle the other direction. And then we're going to do our pose seated, but for some of you, it may feel really nice to stay on your back, but you can even do this at the wall. So if you prefer this alternative, stay on your back, knee over knee, and you can hold the calves or the heels. You're sort of separating the feet. So you can take this lying version of Gomukhasana or shoelace, or rock yourself up and you can do the pose seated. And I'm going to sit on a blanket, which is really nice for adding a little lift. If you have any knee or ankle sensitivities, the higher you get, the less you feel that as pressure. So I think that's okay for me right now. Right knee on top of left, whatever that looks like. I think that's okay. All right. And then this one will be an actual yin pose. So we'll be here for 3 minutes. So if you're on your back, that might help you decide. Maybe you do it at the wall. 3 minutes might be hard to hold your feet that whole time. Okay. And then if you're doing the pose seated, you can simply sit, which feels like more than enough for me at the moment. Or you can have props in front of you and take a nice forward fold. So just explore. The goal of a yin posture is not to look perfect or be well aligned. It's really just to use gravity and time to target those tissues. So you want to find your limit and not push past it. Just sort of find your edge and then be still. We're already a minute in, so maybe you've been adjusting or fidgeting. And so now let's just really commit to stillness, commit to where we're at. So you can close the eyes. You might even bend your elbows. You can rest your temples on your hands, or even thumbs right at the inner part of the eyebrow. It's a really good sinus release. So you just press your thumbs right at the top. Relax your jaw. You only have a minute left, 10 breaths. Just a few breaths left. Okay, so I'll come back out, switch to the other leg. If you have any other movements that you need to take, go for it. All right. Okay, so our 3 minutes have begun. And see if you can work just as hard in this practice as you did in the practice before, where we were working really hard in our physical postures. This might be hard in a different way. So instead of forcing or pushing, find that place. And then just simply commit to being still and being open to receive anything that comes up for you. You might let your breath travel up and down the body. So inhale, you might guide the breath all the way up to the crown of the head. And exhale, you might guide the breath all the way down to the ground. Inhale to the crown. Exhale to the ground. You might continue that on your own. We're about halfway through our pose. All right, and last 10 breaths. Bring yourself out, and then you're going to split your legs out to the side. You can stay where you are and just simply split your legs. If you want to do legs up the wall split, that's a really nice option. So take your legs to the sides. Maybe have your blocks available, and then we'll move into our yin pose here. This is our sort of second to last pose. I'm going to be here a little bit longer. You can think about this section of our practice. We did a bunch of twists and back bends to begin. And so now we're thinking more about forward folds, sort of letting go, moving into the calming, cooling aspects of our practice. So if this does not feel calming or cooling for you, legs at the wall can feel really cooling or calming. You can do butterfly at the wall, anything that's going to start to sort of calm your nervous system, bring you back into the body. And some of you I've seen even get real creative with how to put your props under your forehead to further relax. All right, we are approaching halfway through this pose. So check in, is this something you can commit to for another, our final 2 minutes? Did you go too deep too fast? Do you need to back off a little bit? And once you decide, let's start to just commit to this pose and get into our breath again. And we're going to count our breath like we're counting sheep. So inhale will be 1, exhale will be 2. Inhale will be 3, exhale 4, and so on. And just count until you get distracted. You forget, a thought pops in, you get distracted by something, and then just start back over at 1. And in this last 90 seconds, let's see what we can get to in our breath count without being distracted. If I'm honest with myself, I have to start right back over, back to number 1. Okay, well done. So slowly back yourself out. Go slow. So I always like to take a hand underneath each knee and manually pull the legs back. That way you're not asking those muscles that just stretched to activate so quickly. And then we'll take a final pose for you. I'm going to choose a seated forward fold. This might be happy baby or a twist for you, whatever you'd like. We'll do this and then get set up for Savasana. And I will set the timer. We'll be here for 3 minutes, so that might help you to decide. Plow is really nice, legs up the wall is really nice. But since we did all those twists and back bends, I think a nice forward fold sounds good for me. You might even get cozy. There's something you can do with putting your forehead down on props. All right, we have 2 minutes left. You're a minute in. I'm going to encourage you, and some of you take off at the yin part, but you've already sort of set this time aside for yourself. You can just really find something new in this pose. Really allow yourself to drop in a little bit deeper. Even if it feels boring or it feels like you're not doing anything, it's sort of the balance of it, right? The sun, the moon, the hatha, inhale, exhale, expansion, contraction, the cooling and heating. So let yourself be in this cooling, passive mode to balance off that heated, active mode we had earlier. We have less than 90 seconds left. Come out early, enjoy your rest, reading in Savasana. Okay, we did it. So let's bring ourselves into Savasana. If you have any remaining twists or happy babies that you'd like to take, go for it. I'm going to set myself up with blocks and then my blanket on top of that, sort of a makeshift bolster. And especially if the low back has any sensitivity, it's so nice to have a little bit of a lift. It takes me a minute to get my back happy. You can even end with your happy baby or your twists. Just do those finishing movements that really help you to feel complete. Once you've arrived, find your Shavasana. I'll set the timer again one last time. 3-minute Shavasana. Okay, we've arrived. Really take this time for you. Let the body begin to heal. If you find yourself getting cold, you know your body's going into that healing mode. Taking all the blood away from the limbs, moving it towards the digestive tract, the internal organs. Follow your breath around the body. Are there any nooks and crannies left that want some space or circulation? See if you can seek them out. The jaw softens again, the eyes melt. And we've arrived. Shavasana. begin your journey back. Start to move fingers and toes. Reach the arms overhead. Yawns are always encouraged. Bend your knees. You can make your way onto your side. With eyes closed or partially closed, press yourself upright to seated. Hands to your heart in gratitude for all the work your body has done. Lift your chest, bow your head. Namaste.